4,000 American car dealers are lobbying the United States government to slow down the switch to electric cars. So why are all these dealerships doing this? Why are they trying to slow down EVs? Is it because they've been brainwashed by Toyota? Or is it because of something else? Is it because of profits? Long-term profits. How do dealers make a profit? Well, this is something we've talked about on the channel numerous times, but not for a long time now. And it's important to recognize dealerships really make a profit from one thing, and it's not actually selling you a car. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. And this is really quite a watershed moment in history. 4,000 dealerships have signed a letter saying there's problems with EVs, lobbying the US government to slow down EV sales, even kind of suggesting they're unsafe, that maybe there's more fires. That's not true. Statistically speaking, plug-in hybrids do have fires, but EV dealers don't have a problem with plug-in hybrids. You know why they don't have a problem with plug-in hybrids? It's because they cost a lot to maintain. They're very complicated cars. 3,882 dealers sent President Biden a letter begging him to lighten requirements for EV sales in the future. In other words, to slow down electrification, to slow down the switch. Now, some of the issues in the letter they claim are sincere. I don't think they are, but they say are. But obviously there's some other things in the letter that they say they're only doing this out of the welfare of their customers. It's nothing to do with their own profits. It's all about doing the right thing by American consumers. Is that true? Have dealerships ever been known to do that? I mean, has private businesses ever been known to really lobby the US government in the interests of you, the interests of the average low and middle class? I don't think so. Anyway, in this letter, which actually has just emerged within the last 24 hours, it was sent on the 28th of November 2023, dealers say that while EVs are ideal for many people, demand today is not keeping up with the large influx of EVs arriving at our dealerships. I'm not sure why Joe Biden is responsible for manufacturers if they send too many EVs to a dealership. What's that got to do with Joe Biden? I don't know. How is that the government's fault? Anyway, they say the regulations are unrealistic based on current and forecasted customer demand. At one point, the letter even talks about how nobody knows more than them about car customers. So the dealers are saying no one knows more than we do about car customers, therefore you must slow down EV sales. They also are saying that the regulations are unrealistic based on current demand. But what regulations? There are no regulations in the United States right now in terms of you can sell as many internal combustion engine vehicles as you want. You can sell as many hybrids as you want. So they don't actually mention what regulations they're talking about because they don't exist. I mean, literally, there's no regulations in the United States saying any percentage of car sales should be EVs. That's not until 2030. We're talking, nearly 7 years away. Anyway, major issues in the eyes of dealers, anyway, at least, include charging infrastructure. Customers who don't have a way to charge at home have to rely on the public network, which they say isn't good enough. In addition, they say the customers are concerned about EVs being unaffordable. EVs have never been cheaper at the moment, by the way, and obviously, to make a product more affordable, you sell more of it, then it becomes cheaper, just like the original iPhone. Some customers have to deal with poor weather that can reduce range. Others must drive so far that charging often isn't practical, they say. Others have to tow. And of course, you can't tow with an electric car. I mean, towing is just impossible with an EV, or is it? No, of course it's not. It definitely works. Now, obviously, some of these points are genuine challenges to EVs, and like any vehicle choice, there's always going to be compromises. However, the charging issue is legitimate, but, of course, the truth is much more complex. Now, for one, Tesla's charging network has been opened up to other brands. 2, EV chargers are being installed at an enormous level right now. The number of chargers committed to being installed over the next 2 years is enormous. In addition to that, home charging, is that really the biggest challenge that people can think of. I mean, who gets to fill up their internal combustion engine vehicle at home while they're sleeping, or at home while they're watching TV? Can you do that with your internal combustion engine vehicle? No, I don't think so. Anyway, now some EVs do actually have some challenges in cold weather. So do diesel, gasoline, petrol-powered vehicles, but EVs have improved in that area with heat pumps, with batteries that work better now in cold and hot temperatures, better thermal management. Those things are definitely getting better. Now, of course, keep in mind, there is a key reason here why dealers don't want to sell EVs, and they don't want you to know what that reason is, but I think that reason is pretty obvious. Now, before I mention that though, dealers are basically saying that only rich people can afford electric cars. To be fair, a Tesla Model Y, a Mustang Mach-E, pretty popular body style, mid-sized electric SUV, mid-sized SUV crossover. You can get one of those now for around $36,000 US. $36,000 if I can get it for less than that. The base Model Y you can get with the tax credit incentive, which is per point of sale now. The $35,000 Mustang Mach-E, about the same price. That's definitely affordable. That's a lot lower than the average. The average sales price in the US is in fact more than $10,000 more than that. So I don't think EVs are actually unaffordable, and especially used ones. In addition to that, the unaffordability problem is one that's actually often caused by dealers. Studies recently found that dealer markups in the United States accounted for 35 to 60% of all inflation related to car prices across the USA. So dealers are marking cars up and simply profiting those markups. So dealers maybe are not so concerned about your welfare after all. It's more about lining their pockets. I mean, realistically, if dealers just decided not to put on these markups, then obviously all cars would be cheaper for everyone. And here's the thing. The reason dealers don't want to sell EVs is ultimately because they don't need to be serviced. If they did, how is it that Tesla for 10 years, in fact more than 10 years, has not needed you to service their electric cars? I mean, realistically, what do you need to do to your EV? Do you need to do oil changes? That's the main reason for a service. Do you need to do oil filter changes? Do you need to do all these spark plug changes? There's so many things you have to do to maintain an internal combustion engine vehicle, and that's where dealerships make their profits. It's on servicing. Keep this, in perspective here. You actually really don't need to service your electric car. And the other thing is, when you buy new cars today, usually you don't have to service them with the brand. So a lot of people are not servicing them. Let's say they buy a Hyundai or they buy a Nissan, they go and get them serviced by a local service shop, and then those brands miss out on charging you high price servicing fees. Tesla, like I said, you don't even need to service a Tesla as part of your warranty requirements. That's the key issue here. Dealerships know the majority of their money comes from servicing. And with an EV not needing to be serviced, well, yeah, that's a problem for their business model. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Bye-bye.